Hi, everyone. My name is Sean Jones, and I'm the CEO of the iNetrapreneur Network, the network for entrepreneurs, business owners, and influencers across the globe. And today I have business owner Craig Darling, who owns Darling Companies, and his business is all about the secrets and the best ways, best practices, and the most efficient tools available, Google tools. Craig Darling, welcome.
Well, thank you. You said it so well. It's almost like the interview's over.
Are you kidding? Google is like a mystery, it seems like. There's so many different products and tools available through Google that a lot of times people find themselves overwhelmed until they work with you and you show them what is actually at their fingertips. Tell us a little bit about Darling Companies.
Well, you're absolutely right. There is so much at your fingertips, and quite literally everything is free, but not everybody knows exactly how to get to it. So, Darling Companies, what we really do is we offer resources. There are resources if you want to do it yourself, learn how to manage your Google profile, Google products on your own. We have coaching resources if you need somebody to hold your hand and walk you through the process for hours or even a year. And then of course, we have the full business Google management program, which takes everything off your shoulders except delivering the reports to you every month. So if you have any idea of what the Google Sphere is and you're intimidated by it, don't be, just talk to me.
I love it, Craig. I was just in our Google suite the other day, and I was just kind of going down the list of tools that are available, and there are so many. And as I mentioned earlier, it can be quite overwhelming. As an entrepreneur or business who wants to turn to G Suite, what are some of the top tools that are most commonly used on Google?
Well, of course, we all know the number one tool, and that is Gmail. Gmail is an incredible resource for email. And when you say G Suite, or now it's called Google Workspace, when you're looking at that, of course, your Gmail account is branded the same as your website or your URL. So that's the number one. But the number two Google tool is Google My Business. Google My Business is without any doubt the least expensive, most effective way to be found on the internet today. And it's really crazy cool because Google will reward you for using it monetarily, in fact.
Interesting. I did not know that it would reward you monetarily. When you talk about Google My Business, what are the pros? I mean, outside, everybody wants to be found, right?
Right.
So does this, by having Google My Business, does that go towards like search engine optimization? How does it help your ranking to get on that first page that everybody's fighting for on Google?
Well, great news for those of us entrepreneurs that want to be number one on Google. The Google Business Profile only comes in the number one position. It's never two, it's never five, it's never on the second page. If your Google Business Profile is relevant to the search, then you're going to be the number one search result. So what you can do, though, is you can create relevance for your Google Business Profile. And let me explain just a little bit. Most people, their Google Business Profile is only found when you type in the name of the business, the city, and the state where they locate. But if you practice visibility or relevance programs using your Google Business Profile in the way that Google is prescribed, then suddenly your Google profile turns up when people are searching for your product or your services. So it's really important that you grab your Google Business Profile and you get to creating your optimization programs. And what does that mean? List your products, list your services, talk about the categories of business that you do. Make your Google Business landing page, your Google Business Profile, make that a complete website that's located within search. That's really the way to do it. If you want to be number one, get your Google account and have some fun.
You mentioned earlier that you work with clients that you can even set them up on a year-long program and hold their hands. What are some of the tools or the ways that you work with them throughout that year? What does that look like, Craig?
Well, that's typically we do have clients that are on full 1 year programs with us, and some of those clients are trying to create their own Google My Business agencies, which with only 4% of the people in the world, the businesses in the world claiming their Google business profile, and 92% of the people in the world using Google to search, there's a lot of room for growth in that particular field. But the coaching classes can be either one-on-one. We do an hour a week. And then the group classes, that's where we have several meetings a week that are a half hour to an hour in length. I bring in outside speakers. We talk about what you can do to manage your Google profile, but we go further. We talk about social media, websites, video production, etc. There's really a lot that goes into Google. Imagine Google is YouTube, Google is Google My Business, Google is Google Drive, Google is Google Docs. I mean, I could go on and on. And the big one, nobody realizes it, but Google My Business is a social media profile exclusively for entrepreneurs and small business owners. That is really something.
It really is something. And you touched on the Google Drive. And I know that I've helped other entrepreneurs learn about the Google Drive and the power that it has, but it still seems to be an underutilized tool. What are your thoughts on Google Drive?
Way underutilized, and I use it a lot, and I still underutilize it. There's aspects of it that I don't completely understand, and this is what my business revolves around. But let me give you an example. So we have a website that has a library in it. One of my clients is provides information to the G Suite, or the C Suite rather, for big business. Anyway, the documents, the library that he writes, we write them all in Google Business, in Google Drive, and then we simply attach those documents as web pages on his website. So what that means is that a clerk can go in and make a correction or make a change without having to hire a web builder to go in and change the website. It's all done in the Google Drive. I mean, it's really quite amazing what Google Drive can do.
Google has really transformed the world on how we operate. I know that kids that are in school, it's part of their curriculum, even as early as junior high, to learn how to create documents in Google and the worksheets. The slides and the power. I mean, comparing that to PowerPoint, there's a lot of different features that are available through Google.
There are, and it's just the number of apps I think right now is hovering somewhere around 200, and these are all free apps, and all you have to begin it all is a Gmail account. So creating a Gmail account gives you access to all of the Google tools, and if you have a small business, all of the Google tools that are designed for small business are there for you to use for free. And I'll explain really quickly why that is so important to you. Google wants people to stay on their platform as long as possible. If you take and utilize the Google tools to populate it with material and content that focuses on your company, Google will serve that up to people they believe are likely to engage or do business with you in an effort to keep those same search users on their platform longer. And as soon as you understand that, you get it. Why Google Tools and Google My Business is so effective.
It really is. And you also touched that Google has YouTube, and you teach people about YouTube, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
What are some ways that business owners, entrepreneurs can leverage YouTube to powerhouse their image, build their credibility, and really reach the masses and their ideal demographics?
Well, it really depends on what you said, your demographic. So you line out your demographic and you create content that you publish to YouTube that reflects that demographic. Again, it's a Google property. And if Google thinks that it is relevant to the people that its algorithms have already identified, This is not anything that you or I can do anymore. Well, yeah, we can do some SEO, we can apply some keywords, but the reality is Google algorithm, the algorithm update, by the way, is called Pigeon, gathers those signals and serves it up to people that they believe are most likely to engage with you. This is a complete turnaround from the old days of SEO that one Robert Jones and I are both familiar with. This is easy for everybody. I mean, if I can make a global company out of doing this, it must be fairly easy because I'm not that bright.
That is right. You do work with clients all over the globe because the product is found in so many different countries. Obviously, here in the United States, you offer the coaching sessions. You offer what I call the do it for you or done for you system,
Right.
where you just take over everything. And you
That's
have a
right.
team that you work with that helps your clients, correct?
Yes, we do. We have a good number of people around the country. Uh, Most of our VAs are all here, located here in the States. So, but the cool thing is when I take on a new client, I'm actually the front person on that client for the first year. I want to make sure that everything is perfect. Once you decide that you really like what I do and you come back for your second year, and everybody does, then I might pass it off to one of my VAs because I'm working on new client products coming in. But once we see that recognition, once we see that visibility start to climb, we know we're on the right footing.
Wonderful. And Craig, I know you're a best-selling author, you're a public speaker, and you host your own events as well. Do you have anything coming up?
We do have some stuff coming up, but because of the pandemic and the contract and the obligations and the not sure about obligations, I'm not really announcing anything right away because it's all balls up in the air. I wish I could give you more information than that.
That is wonderful. Craig, if someone would like to book an appointment with Darling Companies, talk to you personally, how can they reach you?
The easy way to do that is to pull out their cell phones and text the letters GMB, Google My Business, GMB, text those letters to the number 21,000. My digital business card will respond right away, and there's simply a click to schedule an appointment with me, click to watch any of my social media platforms or my videos, click to go to any one of my number of websites. Text GMB to 21,000.
Wonderful. Craig, I want to thank you so much for taking time to share more about your business and how you're helping entrepreneurs achieve their goals, and without having to invest a lot of financial revenue towards that. And whether they want to do it themselves, they want to be trained, or they say, Craig, I need you and your team with Darling Companies. So thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to visit with me. I appreciate it more than you know.